This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0.
Sorry for smiling there.
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? How we doing? The only thing best about Manchester United today is that we're one game closer to the end of this season. Manchester United won. Burnley, the 19th place Builders, won. United, more shit football. You know, what to tell you. We got basically came out dead duck. Burnley peppered us in the first half. We had like a couple good chances early, and then like they had the last 40 minutes of the first half. Onana did quite well in the first half, made a bunch of big saves. United better in the second half, squandered a bunch of chances, got a goal from the bluffer Anthony, some odd subs as well, and then United give up a penalty. Onana makes a howler, gives up a penalty reminiscent of a penalty he probably should have given up earlier in the season, and United dropped more points to Burnley the Builder. And that's about it. That's how this season's gone, sir. So 1 point, and more importantly, 4 games left in the EPL. Just put me out of my misery, Coach. How you doing?
Not good enough. Not good enough from Manchester United Football Club, the biggest football club in the world, and turn it into the biggest clown show in the world. It would be one thing to just like have a bad game, but then for us to expect it and to be playing like the third, basically, championship side. I mean, this is relegation-bound Burnley. They're in a fight. They might not be in the championship, but they are pretty bad. And the highlight for me was in the 70th minute, it was like back and forth. We were giving away the ball horribly. They were giving away the ball horribly, and we're really playing down to their level. That is so concerning, right? And that was after the adjustments the manager made, and it was literally like high school stuff, just not holding onto the ball, turning it over sloppy, and United can't play down to that level. Like, we are better than that. The players are better than that, but nobody is there to like get a grip of the game. Obviously, we got the Anthony goal, which was a great finish. I mean, like, honestly, Burnley passed it to us. He had a lot to do. Finish the goal. But before then, it was just so sloppy from United and playing down to their level, and that is what is the biggest mystery here. You have good players, you can make mistakes, but we can't play as a team. There's no structure, and we can't get a hold of a game, and we can't dominate the ball against like championship sides. Like, the red bells are flashing. You know, the XG as well, even another horrible team playing at home. The list goes on, and so like you said, Manchester United is sort of in this slow decline, and what will happen this summer? What will Ineos do with the main man? Who knows? But I think we need a change.
Yeah, and I think old Sir Jim feels similar to you, John. I think you could smell the winds of a change. You know, I think the fans are in alignment. I think we all are ready for a fresh start. We're getting it with the front office. We got a new CEO. We're going to have a new DOF. We got a new kind of partial owner running the show, and we're hearing a lot of noise about a German manager who's currently in München, and he could be coming to Manchester next year. We'll see. But either way, I have to agree with you. We need a change. It feels like at this point, Erik ten Hag's in his lame duck period, where it's like he doesn't have a grip. Players, you know, who knows? I don't even know. I can't even explain what's going on with these players anymore. But he doesn't have a grip, making kind of odd rotation and substitution calls today. And like you said, it's like we're so sloppy, we're so open. Even when we like have the ball like in a dangerous position, the players don't make the right pass, or they force it, or they're selfish. It's like we just can't do anything right. And then giving up a penalty at the end when you do snatch a lead, like you said, Anthony actually did quite well, has a lot to do in that position, finishes well. I like the multi-sellies. That's always a sign. You do 3, 4, 5 sellies at once. And then United blow at the end. And like you said, there was nothing surprising about us blowing it at the end. You expected it. I expected it from open play, to be fair. I didn't think we'd give up like a Howler Onana penalty where he like smashes the guy after the ball isn't even in play near the player in question. And that's just United. It's just a mess. Everything's a mess. The team's a mess. And all United fans, I can't speak for all United fans. We're ready for the end of the season, sir. We need a fresh start, top to bottom. And you know what? Like, top of the pyramid is the manager. He's going to be the first one to go.
Yeah, I mean, this train is coming into its final stop. You know, this is
It's off the rails.
This whole thing, like, and I try to understand people that just like want to see more of this. I can't understand it. It's been like 38 games, full season, worst European campaign. Might be our worst finish in the EPL. Like, Moyes was sacked on 66 points. We're 54 and looking down the barrel at playing Newcastle and Arsenal, and we're struggling against Coventry. I mean, this is really bad. I mean, this is epically bad. This is year 2, 400 million in the bag, and there's just things that you're hitting your head against the wall. And like you said, it just really feels like, what would we get from another year? I do not see it. I do not see a system. I do not see a leader of men. I do not see somebody who's galvanizing the team in the press. I see exactly, I literally see the end here, and it's clear to me that Ineos will make the change. It's unfortunate. Nobody ever wants to see it, but this is a multi-billion-pound football club, the biggest football club in the world, and there has to be a standard, and this standard is not it. I mean, the players, there are huge issues. There's going to be a clear out. Everyone deserves blame. The CEO was fired. The DOF was fired. The manager's going to go, and players are going to go. This is going to be a full, top to bottom, get rid of them all, start anew type of situation. And I just don't have mercy for anyone in that chain of command. I just really don't, because watching this, it's horrific. It's worse than Rangnick. I mean, where do you go for you're talking about Coventry cooking you, arguably deserving to win at Wembley, Sheffield United coming to Old Trafford, then Burnley coming to Old Trafford. We saw Fulham just destroy us at home. Last season we were good at home, horrible away. I can get behind that. This season, horrible everywhere, horrible against terrible teams, and there has to be a limit. There has to be a time to really look at it and be hey, we're not changing it. There's no hope in this structure right now, and it's all got to be blown up, and we have to start anew, and that's the only way you're gonna get everyone back behind this club. And we have such great fans, such loyal fans. We deserve better, and this club will be back. And this is a trying time. It's a sad time watching a manager that we all backed and all were behind and wanted to see that Ajax football at United, and seeing that project fail. It's heartbreaking. It's it's emotional. It's like a slow motion train wreck you're watching every week, and it's something that's supposed to bring you joy and give you inspiration. It's just so sad to see this Burnley draw.
100%.
With company.
I mean, company. I'm surprised he's still in the job, but they're actually still in the fight. Sheffield United was officially relegated today, so at least we didn't drop points to them somehow. But I agree. It's the manager had his window to save his job for another year. It's Ineos came in, December, it was kind of announced, and then February, it was kind of officially done, at least from the Premier League perspective. And he had 2-3 months to save his job and figure something out. And at this point, it's you just need to start over, man. It's no hard feelings. And like you said, everybody wanted to succeed. Last year, people were excited for good reason. We played some really good football, made progress. It kind of, the wheels, started to shake a little bit at the end of the season, but it was a long season with the World Cup. And then this year, everyone was excited. Some of the transfers were a little odd, but we were hopeful. And it started as poor as you can. And I think it was almost compounded by the fact that the Champions League run was so abysmal. Onana basically kicking it into his own net. So at this point, it's just you just need a reset. And resets happen top to bottom. And there's no, even if the manager was doing better and the team was looking a little better, I think at this point, just given how much negative vibes there are around Manchester United, and there have been for a long time, everybody's got to go out. I hate to say you got to throw the baby out with the bathwater, bro. It's you got to the whole thing's a mess. You start fresh, you get rid of everybody, and then you figure out which pieces you want to hold on to, and then you just start building it again, all over again, like we did back in the day, like we've done many times. So It's always darkest for the dawn. It always kind of made sense. Like the last season, hopefully before things begin to turn, was going to be like, in many ways, the worst season a lot of us have endured. Probably, since they were relegated in the early 70s. So at this point, I mean, this is rock bottom for United, at least in the modern era.
Yeah, this is the longest and worst we've ever played. That the whole I've never thought like United going into like a Sheffield or like a Burnley and be like, we're gonna play awful and we're probably gonna drop points. Like I've never felt that way wearing the United shirt ever, and I feel that way. And it's one thing to feel that way, but then to feel that way and to have it play out exactly like we all thought, which is like we played horrible, somehow got a goal, and then gave it all back. But, sir, quick PSA for the podcast. If you're not done with this season yet, because we aren't, and we're going to watch every single game left of this season, sir, enjoy it. Enjoy that season,
We got an extra one. We got an extra one, bud.
23-24 is not in the bag yet, and we're here to break it all down. And if you like fan-generated content, please support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/America Devils. Great way to support us. We don't have any ads on the podcast. We're funded directly by fans and Muppets like yourself. Big shout out to Lucas, who became a Sir Alex Ferguson Stan supporter, our top tier on Patreon. Thank you so much, Lucas, and thank you so much to all of our Patreon supporters. Like I said, we do a ton of behind-the-scenes content, tons of benefits. Please check it out. Also, check out our store. If Patreon's not your thing, you can grab some merch. We have our Eric Ten Hag Red Army scarves on sale for $4.99. Big shout out to Alan from St. Louis, who bought 3 of them. He's backing the bald man to the end.
That was
He's
before
backing
Burnley.
him all the way to the end.
Before Burnley, though,
Hey, if you back the bald man back against the wall, grab a scarf. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting in Alex's garage for years to come.
They're flying, bro. I'm running out. They're flying out. Everybody's buying them.
Also, check out our blog, AmericaDevils.com, and sir, tell them about iTunes reviews and other ways you can support the small-time operation that is the America Devils.
Just John and I. Great way to support the pod. Like he mentions, rate 5-star reviews. Do it on iTunes or Spotify, and we're giving away free merch if you do so. It doesn't just help us get found organically. You get a little extra love from the America Devils. So rate your 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Send a screenshot of that review to americadevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will pack up some ARD gear, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one from McDuck, Best American Man United Podcasts. It's the only Man United podcast I listen to that doesn't contain a British accent. Highly recommended. Cheers. Thank you, McDuck. Let's get into some football, boys and girls.
All right, we're talking Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. The Builders coming in at 2 Old Trafford in 19th place. The lineup: Onana in net, Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, center back, Magoo, Delo, left back, Mainu, Eriksson, Fernandez midfield, Garnacho on the left, Højlund up top, and Antony on the right. How are you feeling about this starting 11?
I mean, no huge shockers. I think it is the same 11 from a couple days ago. I would have liked to see Ahmad get a start. I like Anthony making me eat my words because he got a goal, but I don't think he was great. And Ahmad's looked really effective whenever he's come on the pitch. So that was my one, hey, let's change it up. But we know this manager. Minutes with the boys, sir. What did you think when you saw it?
Look, we saw the Eriksson midfield, Casemiro at center back. I didn't think he would change much, and he did not. So, look, we came out. Sir, walk us through this match.
United largely outplayed by Burnley in the first half, as is tradition. We had a couple early chances and then kind of gave them the run of it for the rest of the half. So, early. First man Onana with an early save, strong hands. So he did quite well, and then it was end-to-end, as you would expect, playing 19th place at Old Trafford. 3rd minute, nice chance for Garnacho at the far post. He slices just wide, and then Bruno had a good chance right around the 19th minute, and he hits the post, actually, from outside the box. So Bruno looking in form, but for the rest of the half, it was all Burnley. 27th minute, huge save from Onana after United gives the ball away. They kept coming. 35th minute, another big save from Onana, and they were so sloppy, sir. Like you mentioned when we led into the pod, they were just like, they'd give the ball away, we'd get the ball, try to play out the back, and then somebody would just misplace the pass, and we would be getting broken on. So there was a lot of that in the first half. Giving the Builders a chance.
No, it was not a bad 20 minutes for United, but again, we faded hard, and then Burnley kind of grew into the game. And look, it's like we've been around the world. We've watched football in Chile. I've watched it in the Netherlands, Spain, everywhere you can watch a football match. Denmark. I've seen FC Copenhagen at home.
Argentina.
Argentina as well, traveled, watched World Cups. And the lower the league, the more open the game is because they can't get a grip. And what you're seeing with United is we can't get a grip. And it's if you look at that team, it's on the players, but it's also on the system, and it's also on Manchester United at home should be able to get a grip of a match, especially against a Burnley. They were there. We should have been pressing them. They didn't play out the back tremendously well. There should have been way more opportunities for United, but we somehow couldn't get it together to generate those chances. Second half would be better, sir. So let's walk through it.
It was better until it wasn't, sir. Which is oh my god. Even when it goes well, it doesn't. They're gonna fuck it up. So like you said, better. Definitely started better. 50th minute, Garnacho made a great run, cuts back, puts Anthony in the cutback, but Anthony couldn't quite get a hold of it. It was a really good chance. 53rd minute, Garnacho beat his man, goes just wide with a curler. He looked super dangerous, especially in the second half. Strange sub, 65th minute, double sub. Ahmad and McSauce came on for Kobe and Hoyland. I was a little shocked he yanked Hoyland instead of Anthony. But what do you think of the sub, sir?
I don't mind the Hoyland one because, again, he rightfully or wrongfully, he's not getting the service, but he goes missing in games because he doesn't have the hold-up play to get involved, to come deep. And so he just kind of stays up top and is looking for something that isn't there. So I understood getting Ahmad in the game because he came on, boom, he's coming deep, grabbing the ball, making runs. He adds so much energy to this team. What did he do to the manager not to start? Again, something very strange there, how Ahmad cannot get a start at United, especially when it comes on and boom. So Kobe was the one that everyone was howling about. I agree. I don't know why he took Kobe off. I don't have the explanation. That one's more concerning than Hoyland, than just trying to, we needed a goal. We were trying to switch up the attack.
Yeah, months ago, I would waste my breath trying to justify changes and thinking of why he did it. But at this point, I got nothing. More good chances, though, after these subs from Garnacho, though. Garnacho was super threatening. 69th minute. Forces the keeper into a great save. He was keeping it up, that Alejandro. And then big chance over the top around the 70th minute. Garnacho pushed from behind, no call. And then 79th minute, sir. Anthony. Here we go.
Oh, it's a gift for Anthony, who has support from Fernandes. And Anthony's through and scores! The goal that Old Trafford craved and that Burnley dreaded.
Now, credit to Anthony. He's got a lot to do here. He does well. He has an opportunity to fall over. He doesn't, which I think should be rewarded in the current era. But it's rewarded with a goal. So good for him. Gets his first goal of the season in the EPL. He's had a horrible run of it. Pretty horrible transfer. But, hey, great goal from Anthony. So well done there.
Anthony, you got to get the there's no H, sir.
So it's whatever. His name ain't worth knowing, bro.
I know, but he scores a goal. You should say
it's a great goal.
Anthony.
He does well. He does really well. He has a lot to do.
No, it's he wins the ball. The celebration, I
know.
He's got to calm down with
it. It's
this.
The low. It's a low celebration.
No, I know. It's even he's the low plus on the celebration. And that's just I'll tell you, that's B tier camp. I mean, United are so far away from where we need to be. But, great goal. And then it was in my head, after we score, I'm boom, okay, we're going to get these 3 points. I'm thinking about Europa League. I'm thinking about, maybe if there's going to be a 5th spot for the Champions League. I'm kind of getting going. And then all of a sudden I'm wait, no, we're going to concede.
And concede we did.
Every fan.
What'd you say?
Every fan knows in their head that we score and we're we're going to give it away.
I thought it was open. I thought it would be open play. So I was, penalty. There you go. So 81st minute, Amrabat came on for Eriksson, quickly fell over, which was kind of funny. It made sense on paper, but Amrabat's not having a good go of it either. And then 87th minute, penalty. Let's hear the call on the field.
From Onana to come and clean everybody out. For me, that's a penalty kick.
Old Trafford and Burnley's relegation rivals hold their breath. And Amdouni is the coolest man in the place.
There you go, sir. Onana, hey, did very well in the first half to keep us in it, but he's had 2 howlers in 2 games in a row, if you include the Sheffield giveaway, and then today. He got away with this, if you remember, and it was like talked about all week by the press because they love United. And today he did not get away with it, but he like clattered into a player after the ball was basically gone and got the penalty. So there you go. That's a penalty. Burnley 1-1. What'd you expect?
It was a lazy clearance that
Was.
kind of led to this whole kerfuffle. I could call that a kerfuffle there. And Onana just like, I like the energy he comes out and just like,
Fucks him up.
all man, no ball. Like, I mean, like, yeah, like he's only got one speed in that regard. And when you miss the ball, you're going to call the penalty. Sucks. Heartbreaker there as well. Ball does not lie, sir. Burnley slots at home easy. And then there was the handball on the cross on the other end of the field. This one, you could whinge about it as much as you want. Handball is completely fucked in the EPL. Like, again, we had this called against AWB, then it's not called here. You have different VAR officials. The consistency on handball calls, they can't even get off. Like, I don't even think they're getting offsides right. And the handball, you're just going to have a miserable time trying to explain one versus the other forever. We saw the Jack Grealish one in the FA Cup semifinal when he was in the wall.
That one, I forgot about that one. That was a wild one.
For me, I've seen these kind of 50-50, and I don't like, it's just like, is it an actual position? And then that's just completely open to interpretation. And at that point, like, who knows? But here's the deal: as a United fan, it's like we got hard done here for sure. Like, could you argue it's a penalty? Yes. Could you argue it's not a penalty? Yes.
Right.
Can you show me examples where this has been called? Yes. Can you show me examples where this hasn't been called? Yes.
Right.
But we are not playing well against Burnley at home.
Correct.
So, like, that's the issue. The issue is, in the lead up to this, it was so sloppy. Like, the giveaways from both teams, we were playing down to their level, sir. We were getting in the mud with them. And honestly, Burnley was enjoying space of possession in our half and asking questions of the back line. And it's like, in no world should that exist. And so we're so in bizarro land where if you want to boil it down to this, like, shit VAR call, like, you can. But you're going to have a bad time, man. It's like, we're playing bad football and we're getting punished. And the refs suck as well, but, you know, we should be able to handle and dispatch Burnley in confident fashion at home, and we are not able to do that.
100%. I'm not going to argue against that. That's why I haven't even really mentioned it until like 25 minutes into this pod, because we didn't lose we didn't drop points because of this, like, the penalty inconsistency that was witnessed today in the second half. The thing is like the Premier League is quickly losing credibility as like the premier soccer league in Europe. And it's been happening over the last 5 years, and it's like compounded by the fact that they've basically turned a blind eye to Man City, allowed them to cheat for a decade, which I think is having a negative effect on the game and the league. And then they like punished Forest and Everton for some reason, double set of standards. And at the same time, like you said, it's like, I don't want this to be a penalty, right? Because I don't want the AWB call 1 week ago to be a penalty. It's just the consistency is all over the place. It stinks. And the fact that you have refs moonlighting for countries, for sovereign countries that also own football clubs, it's like the whole thing's it stinks, bro. And it's like it's starting to become kind of in the open. And I think they got to get a handle on it. So not great, but like you said, it's not the reason United dropped points. They dropped points because we weren't good enough, and we played like this all season. We played like shit. So it should have been like, if United could handle themselves, we would have rolled this Burnley side. But United are playing like headless chickens, and this is what you get.
The fire rises, sir. The big rant there. I would argue that, EPL is actually doing well commercially. Better, like Spain was number one. EPL is number one, but you're right. The reffing is not great. But also the reffing in Spain is not great, right? So it's not like they have other, better systems. This is more of a symptom of what happens when you introduce replay is you like fuck up your sport really bad. And like when the NFL introduced replay initially, it was horrific. And then now they got it. But it took a decade, and I think it's just going to take like a decade of like the no line drawing will be great next season. Handball, they literally need to like sort this thing out.
Stop it. Just don't call any pens, right? Like on handballs.
they're just you just don't want VAR should just be there if the ref messes up.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not. It's kind of like they intervene too much and they take away too many goals, and like that's not what they should be doing. It should just be like anything egregious they should try to like call, and there's just a lot of like complaints out there. But look, this is a tough game. 92nd minute, Mount comes on for McTominay. 95th, Onana makes another big save at the death. I mean, he made some big saves today. Let's like talk about like the opportunities that like Burnley were putting on us, like some cracking volleys that he was, some close headers as well. Like this literally could have been Burnley beating us 3-1, 2-1 at Old Trafford. That's a big deal. You have to say it. It's like it should be a fortress. I remember it wasn't a fortress. And last year it was, and then this year it's like we've given up everything. Everyone's had a great day at Old Trafford. And we even saw it with Fulham. Getting into the stats, XG, Burnley 2.07. Obviously they had the penalty. To Manchester United's 2.13, but this is in line with everything we've seen all year. On the XG, we're letting bad teams get a lot of opportunities in our house, home and away. We are 14th in the table in expected points based on XG. That means shit teams are literally creating more than us every single game. Wherever you play, anywhere, anytime, we will literally concede tons of chances. This team is not up for it.
And Bruno,
Shots on
bailing
target.
us out with 9 chances created, bro. It's like he's doing work. That guy's like he's like carrying this team in the top half of the table.
7 shots on target for Burnley, 10 for United, 16 for Burnley overall, 27 for United. 53% of the ball for Burnley in our house. That is insane. Like, that is damning right there. What does this mean, sir? Well, I do have an update on the table. Breaking news. United, we have been mathematically eliminated from top 4 contention.
Villa won.
With 4
I
games
take
to
it.
go. It was a draw.
Ah, got it. Okay. Well, that's about right.
I cannot remember Manchester United being eliminated from top 4 this far out from the end of the season. This is a new one, and we're approaching what could be. We have a concerning finish to the season, and
It will be.
the reason
It
why
will be. It will be, sir. It'll be the worst finish we ever have in the modern era for sure, without a doubt.
the one thing I will say about it, because if you look at, we do have some pretty intense games left to play here. Let's just go through them.
We could go winless. I mean, we could literally pick up 1 point for these 4 games are like a gauntlet, bro.
Crystal Palace away, Arsenal home, Newcastle home, Brighton away. That is the last 4 for the season. Now, here's the deal. We saw United play horrible against Coventry, Sheffield United, and Burnley. We will play better against Arsenal. We will play better against Newcastle. Again, we play to the level of opposition. Very bizarre. So I actually think, we're trying to beat that Rangnick season, which I believe was 58. So that would only take 4 points.
58. Push. We're going to end up 58 with like a 0 goal differential.
So right now we're in 6th place, eliminated from top 4, but we also know 5th could be Champions League. 54 points for United, 60 for Tottenham. They have 2 games in hand, unfortunately. 4th with Aston Villa, 66. We don't even need to go higher than that because we're out. And then Newcastle behind us is the concerning one. They have 53 points, played 34-2, and we play them for the end of the season. So that 7th place finish could be on the block. Arsenal cook us at home. Newcastle beat us. We have our worst finish in the Premier League era. And then City. Ooh, City in the FA Cup with the cherry on top. It could be bad. It could be glorious. Who knows how we'll finish here? But right now, I'm not feeling confident. And I will never say die, but I just have a feeling we're going to show up. City will beat us, but will be a close game. Arsenal will maybe draw. There will be some surprises along the way. It's not just going to be we're going to capitulate. I just don't even want to go there because that'd be horrible. And we have to do all these podcasts to boot.
Yes, we do. You'll listen to the manager. I think it's going to be horrible. I think we're going to win, get to pick up a point. Point against Palace. And then, Brighton have fallen apart. As soon as De Zerbi was, talked about as, the next manager of Barcelona, they've collapsed. But they're all hard games. Palace is hard, so it's especially at Selhurst Park Monday night, that's going to be rough. So either way, I think this season should be the worst in the modern era. That just feels right. So we'll see where we end up. I hope it ends up like what you said, John, that we get surprised to the better. We might, but I want my expectations to be low so they don't, they don't snatch it out of my heart, because that's where it already is, sir. I'm dying over here.
Yeah, the Ole Rangnick 58, Jose Can on 66.
What was Moyes? Moyes got fired before the season even ended.
Moyes got 70.
He got 70 points
Yeah.
and got fired?
No, 64. Okay. No, Moyes was 64. Yep.
Even that, I mean, we're not going to hit anywhere near that. So
Moyes was 64. Van Gaal, Moyes canned on 64 points. Van Gaal canned on 66. Jose canned on 66. Obviously, Ole was mid-season, but Rangnick, dead man walking, 58.
Oof.
And we're gonna try to get there. So we're trying to get to the worst season. Like, and it's like, oh, let's get another year of this. Like, sign me up. Where do I sign for more of this?
The poll was 70-30, sir. I think that's a minimum.
No, I know, but it's like, it couldn't be more clear how bad this is. Like, this has been a full year. Think about it. A manager sacked at interim gets 58, and we're like had a full year. We're trying to get there. This is absolutely bonkers. What did the man have to say about the State of United here? Let's go to the most surprising comment I think I've ever heard a Manchester United manager say here.
Okay, let's go.
I think we are one of the most dynamic and entertaining teams in the league in this moment, by creating loads of chances, by playing good football. Yeah, and we concede also. We have to learn from it, because it was unnecessary to lose the control. I think
He didn't say that today, did he?
After Burnley.
Sir, he's fired, bro. He already knows he's cooked. Like, these guys, these Dutch, why did they pick a Dutch guy to be the new manager of Liverpool? They picked a Dutch guy because only a Dutch guy would be confident enough to think, like, I could succeed after Jurgen Klopp. Like, that's why. The only person that was going to be the next manager was a Dutch dude, because of their outsized confidence. So,
no, what do you think of that? Like, that comment after Burnley, to me, it's like I had to say, I literally listened to that, and I'm like, that has to be an AI. Like, that
deep fake Ten Hag.
It has to be AI, because surely he couldn't say that. Because that's just literally like, translation in English, fuck you. Fuck you if you watch that game. Like, no way.
I don't know if it's
We're
fuck you.
more
It's more
exciting
like,
and
I'm
dynamic.
delusional.
It's, bro, he knows he's full of shit saying that. There's no way.
He does.
There's no way. And that means fuck you, which means, like, I don't care. Like, that's to say that is crazy. I would argue he'd just be like, hey, Burnley's got something to play for. It was hot. I don't know. A lot of games. There's a lot of games.
We don't have a lot of games.
Tired.
We're out of Europe.
We got injuries. It's hot. They ate something bad yesterday. Something else other than that. Like, honestly, you can come up with so many things to say, except for, like, we are, like, it's unbelievable. I can't, that's shocking. It's shocking. It's shocking. And to me, it's two things. Either Ineos has backed them and he's literally saying, trolling the fans, or he's out on a limb, going to get fired, and he's literally trying to save face for the next job.
The latter, bro. It's like, I don't think he's maliciously saying fuck you to the fans. I just think this guy's delusional, and he's like kind of a numpty. And like a numpty would say that. A numpty with no like self introspection in terms of like where we are in the season, what club I coach for, how things have gone, what he said to date. It's like, I think he's just like kind of a dope. And that's what a dope would say after like dropping points to 19th place Burnley.
It's exactly the opposite of last year, but it makes it worse. Saying that makes it worse.
Of course it does.
And that's the problem I have. It makes it worse for the fans. It makes it worse for the players. It makes it worse for him. It's like, you need to be like straight with everybody and just be like, man, we're struggling at the moment. We're switching it up. We're going to find form. We got a big cup final. We want to win. Like, we got to have something other than like, that was great. Drawing Burnley is like, what? I'm just like, I literally, you couldn't make it up. You honestly couldn't make it up, sir. I just was blown away by that comment.
Well, there you go. I wonder who the next manager is going to be. Sir, next manager. Speaking of which, we got a next match. More football.
That's right.
More football.
Let's go. Crystal Palace versus Manchester United, Selhurst Park. We're going away Monday night under the lights, sir. You've been there under the lights on a Monday night. You know what it's all about.
Lit City, baby.
Kick it off noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Lifetime Crystal Palace 141, drawn 13, lost 11. This should be a lock. First time we played them, 1922. We won 2-1 in the second division. Last 5, lost 2, won 2, drawn 1. Crystal Palace, we used to roll. They've kind of been tricky as of late. They have some good attackers and wingers. We've been linked with a few. At least in January, there was some smoke. How are you nervous? How are you feeling? You've been there on a Monday night under the lights with Mourinho.
Well, we also went, if you look at the scoreboard, May 22nd, 2022, sir, 1-0 loss. We were there for that. That was the last game of the season. Ralph Rangnick, Eric Ten Hag was in the stands. And I'm numb, bro. In my head, the season's already over. We're going through the motions. Every day is just another day to disappoint a hardcore fan like myself. So they cooked us, bro. They cooked us at home. They won 1-0, but if you look at the stat sheet, I think they could have blown us out of the water in this game. Elise, they've got a great team. They've got the anti-United team, right? Like a bunch of players, not big names. They all work really hard. They're organized. They play with some integrity and some heart, and they're going to come to play, bro, because they know United are a wounded giant, and everybody wants a bite of old, sad United at the moment, and everybody's licking their chops, bro. They all see a winnable side.
I'm not necessarily numb. I love this team, so much, and I wear the jersey everywhere, and I'm so proud to wear that badge, that Manchester United badge. And even I remember I wore it. Forget which embarrassing result I was wearing my Manchester United jersey out and about, but somebody's like, "Oh, you're pretty brave to be wearing that." I think a so-called Arsenal supporter, and I was like, I back my team no matter what. But there is a disconnection between how much I love Manchester United and then whatever the hell that was today. I can't get behind the shit football, but I can get behind this club overall. So I will be backing him. Crystal Palace, we just need a win. We need some mojo. We need something. The fans, it's been too long, sir.
Yes, I am certainly backing them, but I know what we're going to get, and we're going to get shit football. So that's why I'm not expecting much, because
we'll win.
You and I, TED United is the team for me, sir. How they looking? What kind of form are the Eagles in?
City beat them 4-2. They beat Liverpool 1-0. That's not good for us, but Liverpool are shit at the moment. They beat West Ham 5-2. Ooh, and they beat Newcastle 2-0. So they were actually on a heater.
Oh, fuck.
Uh-oh.
We're getting cooked. I told you, bro. We're getting cooked.
I was confident. Now I'm a little nervous. Let's look at, they play the 3-4-2-1. Dean Henderson in net. Obviously Dino.
He's gonna show up. He's gonna show up.
Eze, Ayew, we've seen them all, sir. They're gonna be all over us. It's gonna be an interesting match, but one where we should be up for it. We have plenty of rest. Injuries, Malacia working out in the gram. He'll be back in 2026. Martial, see ya.
Smell you later.
Luke Shaw enjoying some meat pies. Martinez working his way back. Lindelof, Evans, Varane. Mason Mount is back.
Rash is still out.
Rash is still out. What's your 11? Who would you play against Crystal Palace here?
Well, there's who would I play, and there's who the manager would play. And I'm done playing the who I play because I never get it right. So I'm going to do who the manager will play. And he'll probably play the exact same 11 that lost today, or felt like it lost by drawing 19th place Burnley. So Onana, AWB, Casemiro, Maguire, Delo, Manu, Eriksson, Anthony, Bruno, Garnacho, Hoyland. What do you got, sir?
I'm going to bring in Kamwala coming back from injury. Put Casemiro in the midfield. Take Eriksson out. That would be my change, but similar. And like you said, we can rotate the 11. We just need to show up. What do the bookies have for odds?
Here comes the money.
Dollar. Sir, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I guess they're taking in both teams' form even. Plus 155 for Palace. Plus 155 for United. Plus 270 for the draw. I'd probably touch that if I was over at Ladbrokes. Sir, given the odds, what is your score prediction?
Despite the horrible form, we are going to win at this game. I'm going to say 2-1. It will be sloppy. It will be nervy. It will be all over the place. We will play like shit. We will concede more chances, but somehow, some way, we will come up with 3 points away at Selhurst Park. What do you think?
I don't think that. I think we're going to lose 1-0. It's going to be the same game you and I were lucky enough to see 2 years ago, almost to the day. Because that's how things are going these days. Let's get into some news.
United in the news. Sir, one thing we need to talk about this week was that Rashford came out and he talked about the abuse he was receiving on social media. He retweeted a tweet. Rashford kind of going back at the fans, back at the criticism. Clearly, social media is just a horrible place for Rashford to be. The horrible racist abuse that exists there, it's like horrible. And I just, that does exist in those, unfortunately, on socials. But he has kind of been hitting out generally, and I just feel for the kid because this has been a rough year for Marcus. And then he keeps trying to fight this ghost of maybe playing the victim or trying to say, hey, he needs better support. I don't know what he's getting at really with all of this, but no, in no way, shape, or form is the horrible, abusive tweets acceptable. But there is sort of like proper criticism from journalists talking about him not tracking back and stuff like that. It's hard to make up what he's kind of fighting, but he's kind of coming out again. He had the interview as well. I just think it's when it's not your season, less is more, and I do feel for him, but it's worth discussing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that calls himself a true Manchester United fan is rooting for Marcus Rashford to do well. On this pod, we're critical. We can be critical of players, but also there's a level of respect because we do want them to do well, even if we're critical. And I've been critical of Marcus Rashford this season, I think for justified reasons, but there's limits to stuff. And I think, he's better off just staying off social media because social media is a fucking cesspool of the worst of humanity that's amplified just so people are engaged all the time. So he deserves criticism, but he deserves criticism in a appropriate manner, which is he could play a little harder and pass a little bit more, but at the same time, certain players receive outsized amounts of vitriol, and he's one of those players for some reason. And that's another reason where I think it'd be in the best interest for him to kind of also get a fresh start and maybe get the fuck out of England with all these pariahs just on his backs. And at the same time, I don't want to talk about the fan channels. He did bring those up. That's a whole different discussion. But either way, it's there's got to be limits to players not playing well, and you can laugh about Anthony or laugh about a Marcus out of form, but it's how you do it. And I think we want him to do well, but like you said, he's fighting shadow games because these people are all anonymous, and there's no kind of crackdown on people saying awful things online. That I think he's just better off just staying off of it, less social media, focus on the football, focus on feeding kids, and that's something that everybody can get behind.
Yeah, but there's something to it with Marcus where he's just he hasn't been able to get a grip, and I think it's affected his game. I mean, yeah, some people are more sensitive than others. It makes sense. You open that app, holy crap! But you need, as a professional athlete getting paid millions of dollars, you need to manage it where you have someone else look at it and only show you the good stuff, or you could hire someone to do that for you, someone to manage that so that it doesn't affect your game. But what I have seen with Marcus, he's fighting the press. He wants a spin, he wants a narrative, etc. And you're just not going to get it. In England, the press is even so toxic. It's insane. And I just feel what this season has been for Marcus has been sort of just trying to settle the score with journos and fan channels and this and that, and it hasn't been about football. And I think his job should just be about focusing on the game. And it makes me really question Marcus Rashford's camp, who he surrounds himself with. I think is probably really the issue. And you saw it in the past where he's hanging out with Jesse Lingard, and he's gonna get booted off a team in Seoul, Korea because he's not professional, And you look at Sancho as well. Are these good influences on him? And I just really feel Marcus has the ability to be a top talent, break the all-time scoring record from Wayne Rooney at Manchester United, be an all-time great. But if you can't handle socials and you can't manage the craziness of being a professional footballer in 2024, it's going to eat you alive, you know. And I could I handle it? Probably not, but you know, I'm just commenting on that.
No, 100%. I mean, he's in a difficult position, but I think at this point, like you said, just like don't engage. You know, he shouldn't be treated the way he's treated, but also like don't go swimming in the cesspool, and it makes things a lot easier. And I don't know. I couldn't deal with the modern football, you know, being like a kid. You know, he's not a kid anymore, but like growing up as a kid, and you're like, I don't know, people turn on you on a dime, bro. You have one bad game, they like rip you to shreds.
Insane.
Insane. It's actually, no, it's awful. I mean, and then you have these fan channels. Anyway, let's get to the next story, sir. The big German. Look at those ears.
All right. Thomas Tuchel, Ineos are in talks with Thomas Tuchel about managerial position. The sources here at Santi JFM, maybe tier 3. You know, we're talking tier we haven't seen like a solid tier.
It was on Sky
on
a
this
week ago.
Yeah, but they might source it from these guys. But look, there's smoke. It's like a little puff of smoke out off in the distance. You're like, oh, Thomas Tuchel. He's been like, look, if this is if Ineos is smart, they floated Southgate and they heard the cries and they were like, all right, not going to hire this guy.
Right.
And then now they're floating the Thomas Tuchel smoke signal and nobody's crying out in horror. Actually, people are probably like, yes. But again, I hate the fan vote on it because it's like, hiring Thomas Tuchel like would have got me excited like 7 years ago.
Right.
But now I'm just nervous because it's another serious dude, intense dude who wants to win now. And like, I just don't know if we're ready for that type of manager.
I 100% agree with you, sir. Like you said, like 5-6 years ago, I think maybe even before we were like kind of, I don't say ruined, but maybe before we had the Jose experience, super excited about a win now manager. But this team is not ready to win now, bro. They ain't ready to win shit. And like you say, he's going to come in at exceptionally high standards, having just left like Bayern Munich. And United's going to be a mess, and we're going to be a mess for a number of years. So I think you need like a manager who would be lucky to get the job, put him in there, caretaker manager, keep people like fit and firing, get them kind of organized, and then lean out the squad, basically just turn it over like we need to do. And you bring in a Tuchel. I think, you know, it shows intent a little bit because he is a much higher caliber of manager than the ones we've been attached to. I mean, like him versus the Southgate, it's not even the same ball game. But like you said, it's like, you know how this is going to end, bro. It's like, it's going to end in 2 to 3 years with him just like getting pissed because we can't afford his targets or he doesn't have as much say as he wants or et cetera, et cetera. It's like, you know his type. He's like Conte. He's like Jose. Great coaches. Exceptional coaches who can go in and win if you have a team ready to win. But they also like are combustible. They blow up. They get hot. They have a lot of ego, and the ego sometimes gets in the way of like longevity. And I think it's kind of what you're signing up for with Tuchel.
One thing about Tuchel is that they did come to Old Trafford with Bayern Munich earlier this season, and he gave an interview sitting in the stands, and he was in awe of how amazing Old Trafford was. He played that up real nicely.
I do remember that now.
I remember how he did it, and I was like, he could be, based on like how he's talking and how much he was just like, you know, giving us the shine, I was like, he could be a future manager of Manchester United. At that point, that's kind of what I thought, because that's what you want to hear. You want to, like, he's a manager of another team and he's coming in and like talking how great United is, how amazing Old Trafford is, and you know, like as a fan, I love to hear that, sir. Just,
and it
like,
is amazing.
Place in my heart.
It is a manager like him who gets it, knows that this is a special club, special stadium, special fans, and Mourinho loved it too, bro. You know, he talked about it all the time. He talked some shit about United, but about the fans and how they made him feel. He didn't
move though. He lived in a hotel that
I know
that
because
was
he knew he was leaving. I know that was such a Jose tell. That was such a tell.
That was like that was fucked that he lived in a hotel. Like that was fucked. Like Lowry, great hotel. Shout out. That was fucked. They lived in a hotel. Tuchel has to buy a house. Like Tuchel with a house. Let's see.
Let's go.
Is there any next bit of news here?
Ashworth is taking his bid to arbitration. Manchester United and Newcastle are they're at loggerheads. Can't break the impasse, so he's going to arbitration. He's taking it the legal route. Apparently, the case is gonna start in May and will only take a number of weeks. So, who knows? You know, who knows? Who knows? You would think this would work things out more quickly, but I don't know anything about how arbitration works in England. I barely understand how it works in the United States and how they've dealt with these type of cases in the past. But like, hey, if Newcastle are going to dig in and be unreasonable and just try and harm United, which it seems like they're trying to do, which is just like delay our landing of Ashworth and getting the project going in earnest, this is some kind of route out. I'm all for it, but I don't know. Should I get excited or not, sir?
I think it's going to be long, drawn out, long slog with some payout to Newcastle. But, this is making me nervous, Will Cox. But, just delaying the rebuild that we desperately need. And, Newcastle, it's in their interest to delay it. And that's what we're seeing. So it's unfortunate. Let's jump into fan questions here. At Oscars Pop, quote, "We found our level among the relegation sides. The clear out needs to be ruthless from top to bottom. We are years away from serious contention." Boom. I thought that was a great tweet.
Correct.
Like, great tweet. Summed it up. At Mike United Mets, "I think the most frustrating part for me of the entire season is when we play without a true left back for 90% of the time, regardless of players, manager. That is a terrible failure that is reflective of the structure of this club. How did Reguilón leave in January?" Look, nobody knows.
He wasn't
Nobody knows.
that good. He wasn't that good, bro. Come on, let's be honest.
I thought he was viable, and he wasn't getting a lot of playing
Fernandez
time. Again,
is more viable. They should have kept Alvaro.
they
instead.
got rid of him.
That's more befuddling.
But the thing is, it's hard to comment because you don't know who said what and who got rid of what. All we know is that it's like absolutely bundled and it was horrible and it was fumbled. But like, if Alvaro Fernandez was rated by Eric Ten Hag, I doubt we would sell him. And if
them. I know. Yeah.
no loan to sell. At Had Broadcast, quote, "Forget the season. How does it get any better next season? I have a tough time seeing any improvement with these players. Any of the young players with talent will probably regress being around the rest of the crap on this team." That's a great question. What about next year? And will the young players actually get injured by how shit we are?
For shit for too long, definitely. I think it's going to be bad again next season. And it might be bad again the season after, but I think we'll see, hopefully, incremental improvement. So we're not going to be able to get rid of all the dead wood in 1 year, and maybe even 2 years, given some of these players, we might have to just like literally wind down the clock. But we have hope that over time, we're going to get to a better place. It's like Arsenal, they started the rebuild in earnest, and they got incrementally better every season. But even like right away, it didn't get instantly better. So it's going to take time. Ratcliffe has talked about it. We need to be patient, and that sucks. But at least like there is hope that this team has more competency. They do than the other regime. Like the people that were here before were so dumb that it can't get worse. It's just going to take a while, and we have to just kind of endure the shit football until it's no longer shit football.
Yeah, I think it's twofold, right? One, you get a new manager coming in with a new system where there's an alignment with a professional director of football. So that should improve it from like day one. You're going to see a team trying to play a certain way, right? That's clear to the fans. Number two, it's the front office where you had Murtaugh, Arnold, and Eric Ten Hag, 4 transfer windows, and they had probably like a 20% hit rate. I mean, they had an astonishingly bad decision making. Like even signing Højlund for 70 million to have him be the only striker is like an astonishingly, like United won't do that this year. Like that was a bad decision last summer. We said it. It's nothing against Højlund. He's a great prospect, but you need someone in front of him, right? The idea that you're going to get away with Martial and Rashford was insane. It failed completely, and we called it out in the beginning. So the front office fixing a lot of these issues with a manager who's aligned with them on how you want to play. You're going to start seeing some major roster moves, some holes being plugged, more depth, getting younger. I think we should be able to do some of that this summer. And so you're going to see probably like a worse finish in the league, but football that's better on the eyes and a system that's clear and that one that we're going to play and improve at over an entire season, which honestly would be so much more refreshing than whatever the hell this is that we're watching.
Yeah, 7th place football or 6th place football is not even that big of a deal in the interim. I mean, forever, yes, it is, of course. But like it's the style, like you said, it's style of play, it's the consistency, it's the all over the park decision making. So I think you bring in a Tuchel, you bring in a front office, you clean out some of the dead wood, You bring in some young players who are hungry and ready to fucking work their asses off, and it will slowly get better, even if we're still like languishing in Europa League football, which could be our destiny for the next couple seasons. And that's okay, like you said, as long as there's a route to getting better, and even if the next guy isn't the guy, improvement. We need to see improvement. We have not seen improvement for a long time.
At @D_Cole18, I just want this shit season to end already. Well, it sounds like Alex feels the same way. I don't even care about Eric Ten Hag staying or going anymore. I want every first team player sold. I throw Anthony in too. I've given up on these players the way they've done our last 4 coaches now, ruthless from the top. That's basically the only thing we need. And at Knowles fan 7302, burn it all down. We're going to end on that one, Alex. Burn it all down, and I think that's where we need to start next year. Everyone take a summer break. Everyone enjoy it, and then come back to hopefully a burnt down Carrington training facility with new players, new coach, new CEO, new director of football, new technical director, new everything. That's what Manchester United needs. We will rise from the ashes yet again, sir. But it's been a real podcast. Shout out to everyone who supports us on Patreon. Big shout out to Lucas for joining up. Patreon.com/America Red Devils, AmericaRedDevils.store. Shout out to Alan for backing the man, buying those scarves.
Baby.
Like I said, Eric Ten Hag scarves, $4.99. They gotta go fast. And AmericaRedDevils.com for all your fan-generated blog content. Alex, give us our top 10 cities last 7 days.
We got a new one. Number 1. How you doing? Windhoek, Nambia. Nambia? I don't even know how to say it. But shout out to all the listeners in Africa listening in America Red Devils. Appreciate you. Chicago, Illinois, Melbourne, Australia, Dublin, Ireland, Brooklyn, New York, Houston, Texas, New York, Phoenix, Arizona, Los Angeles, California, Oslo, Norway. Appreciate all the America Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. We're almost there. We're almost to the finish line. FA Cup final. Let's go. We're going back to Wembley. How you doing, sir? We've seen it all. We've won the lot. We will see you all after our trip down to South London, Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace. Let's go, United. We're not dead yet. Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you soon.
We see you.